Hi everybody! Today I'm going to share a couple of tips for making a video for the BRIC Summer YMTPP squared sessions. These are just some of the guidelines and best practice features that we've compiled in a document for you, but just for our visual learners here in a video that might make it a little bit easier, along with some other tutorials that we're going to share for best practices for lighting and sound and maybe the composition of what you're setting up. So to begin, what we're going to do, I'm speaking with you through the camera that is attached to my iPhone. So if you do have an iPhone or a smartphone, usually the cameras, especially in an iPhone, they're very high quality. So they are much higher quality and a better camera than the one in my MacBook. So I'm using my iPhone. I currently have it attached to a tripod, which I will share a link with you all. If you wanted to purchase it. This one's rather inexpensive and I use it all the time for videos because it has several heights. I can adjust it, and right now I have it up on top of a table so that you can see me seated on a stool, and you can see my yoga mat behind me. So the first thing we're going to have is our tripod to hold either our camera or our phone. Then from here, what we're going to use is lighting. So I live in a big apartment building surrounded by many other apartment buildings. So the natural light that I'm getting is not very great because some of the tall buildings are blocking out my natural light. So to solve that problem, and because of, if it's rainy or gray outside, it'll be less sunny, obviously. I do have two lights that I've purchased from Amazon as well, just so you can see what they look like. Ha, they're on. So this is a small light. They come in a set. When I turn it off, you can see it looks like this. And what it is it's just a bright light. It also comes with a set of colors, but the colored light does not work well for videos. So we just stick with a bright white light. And when I turn them on, you can see that was quite bright. You can turn it down a bit, but the highest setting for me is usually best. I position them. I'll show you where I put them typically. I'm gonna move my tripod, another great feature of having one. So I usually put one on, I put them on both sides of me. So you can see I have one bright one on this side and I have one bright one on that side. So I'm kind of sandwiched in between them. And you can move them out of the way. This is just for this quick video, but see, this one's a bit too close now. So you wanna make sure that they're not in the shot, but they're providing the kind of light that you want. Another thing to be mindful of is when you're looking at what the person's going to see with your video, you want to make sure, you're very aware of your background. So as we stated in the guidelines, you don't want anything that has a logo on it, including your clothing, your yoga mat, anything in the background. Even if it's like a bottle of water, you don't want that logo because we can't use that content. Another thing that I typically do is I remove the mirrors behind me that now you can't see, but when I'm posting this higher, when I move my tripod even higher, the mirrors have a glare on them. So I typically, when I record, I just go ahead and take them down because they have a funny, funky little glare that's kind of distracting. Of course, you want to make sure that your background is nice and neat and as orderly as possible. I used to go crazy and take my couch out, and now I've just realized that I'm in my living room, a lot of people are, so I just try to make it as tidy and calm as possible. So another thing to discuss, and we'll share some links, is a microphone or sound. There's different ways to do this, and different members of the executive committee who've had a lot of practice with live stream and pre-recorded content have varying microphone opinions and different ones that work, of course. So we're going to share those with you as well. One microphone that a couple of our members have is a lapel mic that is pretty inexpensive from Amazon. There's also a headset one that we'll share the link to. This one, it has a little clip-on feature like this and a very long cord. So the cord, this is a Bluetooth, so you have to signal, if you're using your phone, you connect it via the Bluetooth in your phone. And if you're an Apple person like me, then you have to use the lightning adapter to plug this directly into your phone. Make sure it's connected And then you can either wear this, wearing a very good yoga outfit, you could either wear this, or, because it is corded, you can also, what I usually do is I put this on a piece of furniture or on the tripod if it's close enough to me. Then I'm not attached to it, but it's still picking up my sound. And you can play with it, of course, just to make sure that it's working. This one also came with a little clicky remote, so that when I'm all set up and in the nice spot here, I can just click play, and then it goes right to my iPhone and it starts recording. So that's another cool thing that I like about it. It's pretty straightforward. The cord's really long, and so that's an easy one to use. Another quick fix that you want to think about is in preparation. You do want to think about, because we don't have so much time, right? We have a 20 to 30 minute period for our videos if you're doing the whole experience with breath, with yoga, and with mindfulness. So if you're doing that, or even a shorter session and you know the time that you're going to shoot for, it is useful to have a big clock. So just like an old school clock that you can put up, or I'm using my digital clock I have in the living room, and I have that right up at the front so that I can look while I'm going, because as you're teaching, the time might be hard to keep track of. So I have cue cards too. This one, start and end time, so that I can be aware of when I'm ending, because we can't post things over 30 minutes, and you don't want to be way under. You want to be in that targeted zone. So the first video that I made, for example, even watching the clock, it was 41 minutes. So I had to re-record it a couple times, and you want to stick with the clock and the timing, and this way is a good way to help you keep track. Another way to use cue cards is to help you with your practice, and even if it's just for anxiety that you may have, you can have a simple list that you write up, not with everything because you don't want to read off of it, but like the main outline of what you're going to do. So that if you tape that up to your tripod, which I usually do, it gives you a rough outline. If you do start to get nervous, or if you do forget, even though you practice, you can kind of glance up and take a look at where you're supposed to go. So this is a really valuable tool, just making like a little sheet that you can look up at, like a cue card. But don't make it too wordy, because you don't want to read it, because that's super boring to be looking at a video where somebody's just reading something. So we have that. And one last thing for recording, just be mindful of the sounds around you. So with the microphone and everything like that, I have the air conditioner in here because it's very hot. Summer in Brooklyn, hot. But I turn it off when I'm recording because it's very loud. Also, I shut my windows because although they're beautiful, there's a lot of chirpy birds back there. So as soon as you get all those features kind of set up, the last thing that you want to consider is your placement. So if you have your mat, if you're doing a mindfulness practice, you can simply have a seat like in a stool, or you can be closer up, and that's okay. But if you need to see your whole body, you do have to play with where you put your tripod and also where you sit on the mat. So now I know I'm crooked a bit, so I'd have to straighten this up. But you want to play around with watching, making sure you can see a lot of your body in the shot. And then as you stand up, if you're going to do that, see, this is not the perfect placement here. I would actually raise this up higher. And then I would be able to see, and if I change the angle of my camera a bit, I would be able to easily move from sitting to standing and then reaching arms up overhead. You don't need to see all of your hands, but you do want to get a good idea of the move so that the people at home can follow along with you. So I'm going to post another quick section on how to, once this is done, what to do with this video, and simply how to get it onto your computer if that's the route you're going to go, or how to share it directly via Google if you are going to share it through the Google Drive app on your phone. All right, so thank you. I hope you have a great time. After you make a couple of videos, I think it's super fun. So I hope you enjoy the process, and I hope you start videotaping soon.